Alright, so the 2025 budget is out. We did a video last week on some of our predictions. Let's see how many we got wrong.
Later on.
Yes, but yeah, let's start with some of the reactions that we are getting online. I think people are kind of like meh on the budgets, like, well, whatever. Could be a good sign. If you're interested in finding the next multi-bagger among small and hidden companies, then you need to check out our upcoming webinar happening on the 28th of October, 8:30 p.m. Links to sign up in the description or comments. You know, nothing to get people super excited about, no goodies, but at the same time, nothing overly disappointing.
Yeah, I think this is what the Madani government has been promising, or that's what they are trying to say, right, to the public, is they are going to reduce the fiscal deficit no matter what. So that's why you would anticipate a very set budget, lesser money to build your construction development expenditure, lesser money goes to subsidy, and more tax. So yeah, that is something that you will be anticipating. And this is what they're going to be projecting. So in 2025, the revenue is going to be increasing by 5.5%. So this time they are quite bullish on it because of e-invoicing and because of other implementations of tax like your SST, even potentially their salmon and avocado tax. So all of these will like kind of increase the revenue for them by a little bit. Yeah, so you can see that our tax to GDP ratio is still quite low as compared to 2021 figure. Back then, we are at around 13%.
2011, you mean?
Yeah, 2011. Yeah, so it's about like 15.5% on GDP. That's very high. And now we are at around 12.5%. But at least we are getting back. I mean, you can see that the low base at 2020 was just around 11%.
Yeah, Singapore is also about 13-15%.
Yeah,
like that as well.
so we are still quite lagging behind countries like Philippines and also Indonesia, if I'm not mistaken. This is according to ANZ, one of the government body in Australia and also in New Zealand. So they are saying that, you know, we can actually push more. We can actually tax more. But as the saying goes, we also need to please every single one. The politician job, you also have to like make sure the rakyat is satisfied also, so they cannot one shot introduce too much of these tax implementation. If not, later they will be unhappy. And you can see that subsidy also is dropping a lot. So last time we had a hit at a peak at around 2023, and now it's going to be expecting to trickle down for 2025.
Too busy to find stock ideas? Check out FIRL Pro to shortcut your research time and effort by 90%. 10% off link in the comments and description.
Now, this is the breakdown for their petroleum and also non-petroleum revenue. So you can see that they anticipate that a slight decline in oil price for Brent oil, which is going to hit around.
Which is good. I mean, it's always good to assume less.
Yes, exactly. But the key thing is that what happens if, let's say, the Brent oil drops to 60 to 70? Yeah. Will they actually introduce more measures to boost up non-petroleum revenue, which is through tax, right? So that's also another thing, because if you look at the news, right, the OPEC and non-OPEC guys are actually increasing their production, and there is lesser demand coming from China also. They're not consuming more. That's why there's like a slow in demand, increasing in supply, which may lead to oil price to actually be depressed. So that is one of the key risks that the government need to anticipate. What if oil price actually drop below this figure, right? So yeah, this is also something for us to know. Now, but if you're a government servant, you'll definitely be very happy because they are going to be paying you a lot, increasing your salary. They're also going to give you some bonuses and a lot of like perks that is going to be given to your pension and so your emoluments. So these are the two things that actually has grew a lot in this budget 2025. You can see 6.2% for emoluments and also 17.7% for pension and gratuities. So yeah. And also what's even happier is home buyers, because home buyers now, not only home buyers and also some healthcare side of things also, home buyers, you can have like those tax relief. If let's say you are a first time home buyer, when you pay for interest, right, you can claim, I think 7,000 ringgit if the property price is
That's
around
right.
500,000.
That's right.
So,
and then I think slightly lesser is higher. I think
yeah,
there's
and
another
also
tier.
there's also another scheme which is you can minimize your monthly repayment or something like that under their Madani housing scheme lah. And also not to mention also health also they're going to be pouring more money over there. So hopefully the healthcare service guys they can actually get paid more for the work that they have been doing for quite some time. I mean they have been handling a lot of tasks since the COVID era. Okay, so a few breakdown for the key things that we're going to be covering. So number one, obviously it is the T50.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people has been talking about it, and then
But but we did the math already, right? So if you make 101,000 ringgit in dividend income, which by the way, on a 4% dividend yield, that's a 2.5 million ringgit portfolio.
Yep.
If you make 101,000 ringgit, you're going to pay 20 ringgit in taxes.
Yeah.
Now, if you have, some of you, watching this, maybe you have this 100 million ringgit portfolio and you make 4%, which is 4 million ringgit, you're going to be paying about 78,000 ringgit in taxes, which 78,000 versus 100 million portfolio,
Yeah. The number is still quite small.
Not too bad.
Yeah. It's not like the end of the world. Like all the companies will stop paying dividends, that kind of.
You know what? Every employer should now give their employees not salaries but dividends. That'd be quite fun.
Yeah, and also they came out with this formula actually. So this is the formula that how the dividend 2% tax is going to be imposed. So you can see that A divided by B times C equals D. You just need to see what are they representing. So why they actually came out with this formula is because let's say if somebody who earns 100,000 a year versus somebody who earns 300,000 a year,
Okay.
and then they collecting dividend, both also collecting the same amount of dividends, 100,000. So does that mean that they have to pay the same amount of tax based on the 2%? Because they are just purely basing on dividend income, right?
Right.
So that case is actually not, because they are taking into account your chargeable income. So the person who is actually earning more, 300,000, may be required to pay more in terms of
for dividend income.
Yeah, for the not dividend income, but the 2%. You're based on your calculation, right? It's gonna be more than the person who earns less in terms of your chargeable income.
So not all 2% are created equal.
Yeah, it's not all created equal. So yeah, if you are, this one is purely focusing on the Mahakaya lah, actually. Yeah. So yeah, if you are interested, you can actually just plug in your number based on the dividend income, then your aggregate income, chargeable income. You derive like a very, very different amount of chargeable dividend income for each of these bracket. So yeah, so this is a fun fact for you guys if you guys didn't know about this. Now the other two thing is that obviously they are not going to be getting any education and healthcare subsidy, but we still
reduce rather. Not sure how they're gonna have no subsidy for them.
Not sure
how they're gonna
because
implement.
this one is the comment words from Anwar's mouth. They say no.
Okay.
So, not sure how is it gonna be doing, but yeah. And the last one is they have to pay full price for Raw 95. So this one is going to be a challenge for them on how they're going to be implementing this. But based on our discussion, the easiest way is actually just giving cash handout to the below 85%.
Yeah,
so,
B85.
B85.
Well, by the way, all of a sudden now it's T15, right? No more T20.
Yeah, no T20,
now T15 and the rest.
Yeah, only the Mahakayas.
But then if you're at T15, you're only earning what? 15,000 ringgit or 20,000 ringgit.
Around there. But also they haven't really truly categorized what is the definition of T15. Like, cause 15,000, it could be like, what if it's joint income, right? Between your husband and wife, right? 7.5. So it's still not really like Mahakaya. I think there's still a lot of like explanation that needs to be done for this T15 definition. Now, obviously, this is a very sad day because two of my, I would say recently I've been liking to eat these two, which is salmon and avocado. Is going to be more expensive in 2025.
Oh, avocado toast.
Yeah.
Very expensive now. That's how we flex wealth nowadays. Just, you go on Instagram and then you show people.
Avocado toast. Yeah. But it's very sad that they're going to be, and they specifically mentioned these two names. It's like,
yeah, they got singled out themselves. If you're interested in finding the next multi-bagger among small and hidden companies, then you need to check out our upcoming webinar happening on the 28th of October, 8 8:30 p.m. Links to sign up in the description or comments.
Yeah, okay. So this one is the video that we did for our last week's budget prediction. And for palm oil, you can see that we used one of these analysts' research report by CIMB. So they say that the threshold will increase from 3,000 to actually 4,005.
Sorry, the threshold,
Yeah, threshold to increase about that. But then in reality, they only increase 150 ringgit per ton. It's actually very, very small increase. So
compared to 3,500, right?
So these are 150, the reality one. The expectation one was actually around 1,000 to 1,500. So the expectation of the earnings boost of 2.5% now becomes 0.00% only. It's actually a very, very small boost only.
Okay.
Yeah. And also, another surprise is that they're going to be imposing more export duty. So this policy that they've been doing from 3% to 8%, assuming your CPO price is around this price range, right? It actually has been doing it since January 2020. And now, since now CPO prices is rising a lot already, they put another few more tiers, which is there's 8.5 to up to 10% if let's say CPO price is more than 4,000. So what it means is that for plantation companies, they need to pay more. So this is kind of like a unexpected proposal by the budget 2025. Very, very sad. Yeah, so a few anticipation. Initially, it was going up for each palm oil, but now we anticipated it go down, and it did actually. If you look at based on today's price, right, Monday's price is most of the plantation companies are retracing a little bit. But so far, there has been it's not like a very, very deep retrace, but it's more of like a slight mini correction.
Too busy to find stock ideas? Check out FIRL Pro to shortcut your research time and effort by 90%. 10% off link in the comments and description.
Okay, the second main thing, which is foreign labor. Foreign labor's minimum, the minimum wage is going to be increasing from 1,005 to 1,007. And on top of that, they're also going to be doing this multi-level levy collection. Levy collection. So this one, I'm not sure how's it going to be impacting, but my guess is that all of these would like increase costs for SMEs. That's the general rule only. And on top of that, they're also going to be introducing the EPF for foreigners, right? So there's actually a few discussion. Most of the discussion is focusing more on like EPF want to get more money from not only just Malaysian but also non-Malaysian. But actually, there's another discussion which is whether this is actually to mitigate those illegal foreign workers. This is actually another good way for them to mitigate this, because right now you have the details of each of these foreign workers who actually contribute into EPF. Then they can cross-check and see whether is this a legal foreign worker or is this not. So yeah, this is another actually it's like a smoke and mirrors for companies who actually don't want this to happen, the EPF contributor. Yeah, that's the reason why they want it to delay. So yeah, just like I mentioned, no illegal foreign workers once this mandatory EPF contribution is starting. I think most of these organizations want them to delay for another 2 years. I believe they want to buy time
right,
to like dish out those illegal foreign workers. That's just my own prediction. Okay, so the third one is sugar. Sugar, they're going to be increasing the excise duty from 50 cents per liter to 90 cents.
For sugary drinks, right? I think.
Yeah, only sugary drinks.
Specifically sugary drinks.
Yeah. And unfortunately, there's no, fortunately, there is no subsidy cut. So subsidy, they're still going to give to the sugar, MSM, and also CSR. And last one, which is no float. Unfortunately, they don't want
MSM,
to say anything. Yeah. So I'll say it's still a plus point for MSM, but then the float one kind of like mitigates the potential further upside. So yeah, a few companies that you can look at, which is Nestle and FNN. With the excise duty, they have to pay more in terms of some of the costs. Whereas for MSM, right now, I think if you look at Monday's price, right, I think they has start to like go up a little bit because subsidy is not being cut. But the anticipation of the third quarter results may not be that good because of the freight rates, right, and all the stuff. So, but we shall see whether how their results is going to pan through. But quarter four, I believe quarter four is going to be good for MSM. So yeah, that's about it. And next one is construction. This one is a very underwhelming. proposal by budget 2025 because they didn't really talk much about infrastructure and also property kind of like developments. But the key thing is going to be Penang LRT. You can see that they're going to be spending 10 billion ringgit in terms of that. And another one, which is maintenance of federal and state roads, 8.3 billion ringgit. That's also another big one. And the next one, it is Pan Borneo Highway, the Sabah one. So yeah, only two key companies that may benefit from this is Gamuna and also Malayan Cement. And probably one of the company that we didn't put over here, which is Protesco. Probably they're going to be getting some contracts for the maintenance for road. Now, next one, which is also hit, tourism. Yeah, this one also pretty much anticipated because they want to boost more tourists to come and visit us. And they're going to be giving some allocation, about 550 million and another 110 million to enhance our tourism and visit Malaysia. So these are the few companies that will benefit. Shangri-La, AAX, KLCC REIT, and also Pavilion REIT, obviously because these are the places where the tourists will actually visit. Now, next one, which is not talked about, which is cybersecurity. This is a very, very short line only. I think there's like a 2-line that they say that they're going to be giving out some money for these institution. NACSA is something to do related to do with National something Cybersecurity Association or something like that. And another one is National Scam Response Center. So the companies that will be benefiting from this is probably LGMS. So most likely they will consult them to how to implement this cybersecurity. So yeah. Okay, the sad thing it is oil and gas and steel counter actually not may, but they will be paying a carbon tax by 2026. And these tax will actually be used to fund a green energy and technology. So they are taking away from the dirty non-green industries to a green industry. So more cost for oil and gas and steel. Even lagi set for steel because steel already they are not getting financing from the bank because it's not green. And also steel ASP price actually right now it's still at a low base, but because of China stimulus right now it actually went up a little bit because in hopes that more property activity is going to be happening there. But still, average selling price is low. So that means they are actually getting hit at all corners. You're getting hit at your customer, your supplier, and now your tax. Very, very sad for steel players. So you can see some of the companies actually also went down a lot also. Mass Steel, Hyaptek, and also Hibiscus also recently because of oil prices that actually went down. That's why they kind of come down. So, but my prediction is that probably steel companies, they may be going through a consolidation phase, most likely, so that they can actually survive. Yeah. Okay, next one, tech. Khazanah is going to be giving out a 1 billion investment in the semiconductor industry. And basically all of this incentive is still going around for your advanced packaging, moving up of value chain, that kind of thing. So
because this is just small compared to what they wanted to spend on earlier in the year, right? What,
yes.
200 over billion ringgit, something like that.
Yeah, and
100 billion ringgit, sorry.
Yeah, and correct. 100. Is it
100 billion ringgit? Yeah.
And then 65 million for their NSS project. So a lot of stuff have been spending on tech. And if you look at today's share price, right, for tech also, they actually have been going up for a while, or yesterday's price also. So you can see Great-Tech, Opstar, and also Vitrox have seen some rebound in share price. Now, next one, property.
Earlier you mentioned, right, that 7,000 ringgit.
Yeah, and also a reduction in repayment amount. So if you're a property buyer in 2025, I think this will be a good year for you because of all of these incentives. And the only affordable property that I can think of is just Massing only. Yeah, there's actually a few more property counters, but
I wish the areas I want to buy were at below 750. I wish.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so that's about it. And whether we have nailed our prediction.
If you're interested in finding the next multi-bagger among small and hidden companies, then you need to check out our upcoming webinar happening on the 28th of October, 8:30 p.m. Links to sign up in the description or comments.
Well, so far, I would say 2 we didn't hit, which is egg and tobacco.
They didn't mention much about these two, right?
They didn't mention at all, actually. Egg remover.
So not bad. I would say, 5 out of 7?
Yeah, 5 out of 7.
Well done.
Yeah. pretty good. But then obviously the palm oil one is a small yes. That was a very sad one. Sugar, yes for the tax, but no for float. Okay, a few takeaways. So this budget, obviously, just now we highlighted it is about fiscal deficit goal. They want to reduce it as much as possible. You can see that our fiscal deficit in 2021 was at all-time high, around negative 6.4%. But that number is projected to drop to 3.8% in 2025 and to 3.2% in 2027. So how they're going to do that is obviously they're going to be doing a lot of measures to tax the rich and to, at the same time, give back to the poor, because that has been their objective for motherly government. Now, the third one is education and healthcare. So I was quite happy to see that they are putting more money for education and healthcare. I think education was the highest amount.
22%.
Yeah. If I can recall, the figure was around 60 over billion.
Yep. We're going to build 44 new schools, going to spend, I think, 1 over billion for, about 1 billion plus for dilapidated classrooms, something like that.
Yeah. So I think this measure is very, very good. And also for healthcare, also, this is obviously you want to compensate your doctors so that they can stay motivated instead of just working OT and getting paid very minuscule. So yeah.
But funny enough, they only allocated 5 million to PT, PTN for medical degrees. I'm like, 5 million. There's nothing, right?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, hopefully there will be scholarships coming in instead of the, But happy to see that these two is getting a lot of attention. Now, the fourth one is VShock's Great Tech at Unisem. So why I put these three companies here is because it was mentioned on television by Anwar. He said that companies like VShock's Great Tech and Unisem sangat bagus. Whether is it a buy call or not, but we don't know. But we know that Anwar visited Penang. And they see like these semiconductor, and then he was quite impressed with these few tech companies. But definitely not a buy call, but these three names were mentioned over there. So that's a fun fact.
This Anwar's sell side call.
Yeah. Okay, last one. Whether this is a good or bad for the stock market? Well, generally, based
long
on
term is yes, I think.
Yeah,
but like right now in the
it's
1
short-term
year,
pain.
I don't know. Too busy to find stock ideas? Check out FIRL Pro to shortcut your research time and effort by 90%. 10% off link in the comments and description. I don't know whether who's gonna benefit directly.
Correct. So
except the usual suspects. Every year there's a budget. Every year construction will get some sort of benefit. It's only this round there's more emphasis on tech. That's it.
Yeah, correct. So the sentiment right now is actually going around tech. That's why you see tech stock also start to like rebound a little bit. But then this is based on the policy that is mentioned in Budget 2025. It's actually nothing to do with fundamentals. So fundamentals wise, the tech stocks is still actually kind of like facing a slow in terms of demand, which we're going to be posting out a video on tech also soon. Make sure to check it out. But yeah, generally it's very muted. It's going to be very muted for the stock market. As you can see, the past 2 days already, the market, KLCI didn't really move much. Construction and property are the major decliners. The tech is the one that is the major positive rally. And also consumer products also is another one that has been rising up. So other than just consumer, I think there's not much of a catalyst for other industry already. But so whether you think it's good or bad, well, that's for you to decide. But we think that it's just going to be very probably short-term pain, but long-term gain. So that's about it for today's video, and make sure to check out FIRL Pro.
Yep, price will be increasing right at the end of October by 10%.
Yeah.
What is FIRL Pro? Right, if you want to read write-ups to shortcut your research journey to find interesting investments, this is the program for you. And we also have a bunch of portfolios for you to use as reference, just in case you're new and you need some guidance on how to build a portfolio. And of course, if you want to get a sense of what each of these reports or write-ups look like, just check out our free sample.
Yeah, and make sure to join our upcoming training on the 28th of October. So if you want to learn how we discover multi-bagger small cap companies, make sure to join on that day, 8:30 p.m. And see you next week.
Bye-bye.